Okay, everyone, good afternoon. Thanks for being here for our signing day press conference at San Jose State. Again, San Jose State wrapped up the season on a really high note with a senior day win at home over Navy, and then concluded the year on the road with a win over Fresno State. Since then, Coach MacIntyre and his entire staff have been working really hard to put San Jose State's future together, and we're here now at signing day, and I know Coach MacIntyre is excited to speak with everyone and fill everyone in on the future of San Jose State football. Right now, I'll bring in the head coach, Mike MacIntyre.
Today is definitely an exciting day. It's like I was telling a lot of the young men, it's like Christmas morning for me. And we were in here at 4:30 this morning as a staff watching the faxes come through at 5:01 because we signed some young men out of state, which is a great thing for our program and something that Tom Bowen and President Kiyomi have given us an opportunity to do. And we're really excited about that. Also, we were able to sign 4 young men right here within walking distance, basically, of our campus, which is really exciting to us, young men that chose us over a lot of other schools. So we're really excited about where we are going with our program and how our recruiting worked. One of the things that really helps us, and it's a big deal for us, our guys work really hard in the summer, our coaching staff. You might think, well, summer, how do you do that? Well, we do traveling camps. And 16 of the 18 high school players we signed came out of those camps. And that's something that's not a glamorous thing to do. We get in a van and we drive all the way to San Diego, and we start in San Diego and we stay in hotels, and we drive up the coast and go to LA and have 2 camps and go up to Bakersfield, and it was 105 degrees at the Bakersfield camp, and then we drive on up to Sacramento, and then we come back to San Jose. And so our guys are working hard trying to do that, and that's been a big benefit for us. And again, this whole recruiting process is not just me and not just our staff. It's everyone involved in our athletic department, from the people that prepare everything to our academic staff that give up Saturdays and Sundays to come help, to everyone involved. You know, it's really neat when all of our athletic department staff involved in the weekend. That's big, and a lot of our kids notice that because they go on trips to other places. And, you know, when they're able to see our athletic director, and they don't see them when they go to other places, when they're able to see our president, came to every single breakfast that we had on a weekend and met individually with each recruit, that's really special. And so there's a lot of people that are involved in this program that's helping us be successful. And recruiting is the lifeline to your program. My dad had a famous saying, and I still believe it to this day. It's not the Jimmies and the Joes. It's not the X's and the O's. It's the Jimmies and the Joes. And so once we get them here, we got highly motivated young men. I've got a great coaching staff, and we're excited about our future. I'll talk to you a little bit about what we did and what we were approaching and trying to do. You know, the 85 scholarships makes a big difference. This is the second year in a row we've been able to have 85 scholarships, and we will continue to have that because of the backing of our school, and then economically, and then also very much so the backing of our academic staff and how hard our kids have worked academically to make sure that our APR ranking stays high. And it is very, very good, and it'll be a great, when they come out with it at the end of the spring, I think you'll be impressed with what our academic program's doing that gives us a chance to be successful year in and year out. First of all, we were looking for, like I always do, and I learned this from Bill Parcells, you want to look for big athletic bodies that can do a lot of things. And so we signed quite a few guys that are, quote, big linebackers, running backs, tight end type bodies. And they will grow into all types of things. And for example, I'll just give you a couple of examples on our team that we have right now. Travis Rossetti was a high school tight end. He's a 290-pound, I believe, freshman All-American defensive tackle that 6'4.5". Vince Buwadja was a high school fullback that is a 6'3 3/4", 245-pound linebacker. Those are just 2 examples of that. Keith Ben Dixon, who you'll see on the field next year, is now a 6'5", 295-pound offensive tackle who was a tight end, defensive end in high school that weighed 230 pounds. So that is what we're building here. We have a great strength coach in Dave Foreman, and our also we've been able to, again, with the help of Tom Bowen and everybody, beef up our nutrition to the way it should be, and that's able to help our kids gain the weight they should. And that's also a monetary thing that hasn't been in place before that's helping our program grow. So we did that. We were looking for offensive linemen. You know, one of the things I heard when I first got here is, oh, we just don't have good offensive linemen. Well, we've got good offensive linemen, and we'll even have better when you walk out there, especially in 2013. These kids will help next year, but when you see the size of them, the athletic ability, and we've got a couple that we redshirted that you've heard about, but you don't know that'll be playing next year for us. And, you know, up front, the D-line and the O-line is really where you win championships. You got to have the quarterbacks, you got to have the skill guys, but San Jose State has had the quarterbacks and the skill guys before. I don't think they've always had year in, year out the linemen, and I think we're getting there. And again, the 85 scholarships enables you to do that, to redshirt some kids, to build them into the players they want to be. Also, the other thing that we were looking for is we need some help at the linebacker spot. We graduated a few linebackers, and we have some guys that have played a lot of ball, but we needed some guys to back them up to get ready to play on special teams. We also needed some guys in the tight end area to back up, because we have quite a few tight ends graduating next year. We kind of look at when you recruit, I'll just kind of give you a little insight, you really don't look at the seniors you lost, you look at your junior class, because most of these young men will redshirt, and they're going to replace your junior class. And so you need to be ready for that. So that's kind of how we project it. We lose, you know, we have 7 offensive linemen on scholarship that are juniors. We have 4 tight ends that are juniors and 2 that are seniors. So we kind of projecting what we're going to do in the future to build that. So we do not have to rebuild, we just reload. And that's where our program's headed. So I'll take any questions at this time about anybody we have.
Coach, talk about David Fales and kind of how he fits into the quarterback scenario heading into next season.
Yeah, David Fales is a young man from Monterey Peninsula. Came from a coach named Mike Rasmussen that's the head coach there. It's been a college coach and very intricate offensive mind, and does a good job teaching the quarterback. And so we were excited about him. He's a young man that signed with Nevada out of high school. Went there, and there was a pretty good quarterback there named Kaepernick, I think. And I think he thought he was going to play behind him a while, so he transferred to Monterey Peninsula. He had a great 2 years there, and was able to come out in January. That was big for us. You know, he's 6'3", 222 pounds, and can throw it and can run the football. So he'll be right in the mix, along with Desmond and Blake, to compete for the starting job. We only had 2 quarterbacks going into spring, and we felt like we needed another one to be able to compete. And that's another saying my dad always used to say, you never can have too many quarterbacks. And so we feel good about David joining the group.
Can you talk a little bit more about, I don't know about this name, Lamaki Musika?
Yeah, Lamaki. Maki is from Milpitas High School. He came in school. We signed him to in January. He's in class now. He played linebacker at Milpitas, and he was a young man that wasn't sure what he was going to do, and we kept recruiting him and didn't sign him on signing date, and he was still trying to figure everything out, and he decided to come here in January, and we're really, really excited about the prospects of he's a big young man. He's 6'2", 250 pounds, maybe 6'1.5". I might have got to exaggerate there, but 250-pound young man that can play linebacker, defensive end, very good athlete from right here in town. And that's the good thing about having Terry Malley. Terry Malley knows everyone, and was able to turn up some rocks and find some really good football players for us.
Mike, how many of these guys would you expect to give the opportunity to play on the other side of the ball? Well, there's guys that are just
both
listed.
ways.
Yeah, both ways.
Well, most every one of these young men, I'd say 90% of them play both ways. But Nico Cottrell would have an opportunity to play, even though I have him tight end fullback. He also played defensive end. I'll go down through here. Addison Gilman played tailback and linebacker. That's what I really like at linebackers. But he's going to be a linebacker, kind of like Derek Mwava, kind of like Keith Smith, kind of like Vince Buwager. They were all running backs. The other young men that could play both ways, Brad Koo played offensive guard and linebacker, but he'll be a linebacker. And if you've ever seen Bellarmine play, they always pull those guards. And he was always the guy pulling, and he was an extreme big part of their offense. Our place kicker will place kick. Jalen McCain will play tailback. Miles Milner played a little bit of receiver, but he'll be a DB. Jimmy Pruitt played both ways and played quarterback, but he will be a corner. He will also be a return guy. Christian Tago start at quarterback and start at linebacker. If you watch the game, you'd say, oh my, you'd go to the game and you'd watch it, who is number 4? He just makes plays all over the place. We'll give him an opportunity to play quarterback. He'll also, in two-a-day practice, you'll come in the fall and he'll play both sides of the ball until we figure out what's best for him. Travis Talianco played safety and wide receiver. He'll play safety. UG Taylor played tight end, but he really is a very good pass rusher, so he'll be on the defensive side of the ball. Jordan Thill was a tight end. Fernando played defensive end and defensive tackle and offensive line. And we'll just see where Fernando fits when he gets here. Like he told me, Coach, if I gain a ton of weight, I'll probably be an offensive tackle. If I can stay thin, I'll probably be a defensive end, and that's probably true. So we're excited about those guys. So that's kind of how that'll work out, if that answered your question, John. Yes, sir.
Coach, talk about Fernando, local talent. He's 6'7". Just talk about him a little bit. I take you had your eye on him for a while.
Well, yes, we have. The very first, again, he was a young man that came to our camps. Since he was in the first year I was here and when he was a 10th grader. And Coach Terry Malley did a great job of recruiting him. And, our Derek Mwava, who came from Independence also, has had a great experience here, and that really helped us. That was a big recruiting coup for us. He had a lot of offers from Pac-12 schools, and really glad that he stayed local. And I look forward to him. He's a great athlete. He also played basketball. You ought to see a 310-pounder running up and down the court in basketball. Just a heck of an athlete. Probably still a little bit raw in all the aspects of playing offensive line or playing defensive end because he's always been the biggest kid and can run over everybody. So I just look forward to getting him here and seeing how he matures, and we'll figure out where he plays from there. But he's going to be a 6'7", 330-pound man, and he won't even look like he weighs that much.
You have the projected best recruiting class in the WAC. Talk about what that means for the program heading forward.
Well, like I said, you're based off your recruiting, and our guys. This is our 3rd year here. We've been working extremely hard at it. I guess we've been here 2.5 years because we didn't have the May before. May is from now till May is so big, and getting your nucleus and getting your building up who you want to have on your board. We have a board in there, and it's kind of funny. We were talking about today. We've already started for next year. And we've already got our camp brochures out. Our last week we went out. We were, telling about our campsites and when we're doing it, and it's exciting, making sure the coaches got it to the correct juniors and the sophomores that would like to come to our camps. And so it's a lot of fun, and I'm excited. It's just hard work, but again, it's the whole athletic department, the whole attitude of understanding that, and that it's a year-round process, not just a 6-week process in December and January.
Coach, the guys that you recruited out of San Jose, Villanueva, Taylor, and Koo, the fact that they're local, did that make it easier to get them excited to play for you and play for San Jose State?
Well, that's a very good question. We lost a couple guys in the area we would have liked to have. There's a situation sometimes that you do not know when you're recruiting a young man. Some young men just want to get away from home, and some want to stay right here. So that's something you have to try to figure out right at the beginning. And then when you figure that out, that if they're interested in staying near home, then you're excited about recruiting and doing that. Not saying that we didn't try to recruit the other guys. We definitely did. But there's some kids that just like to stay home. And there's some kids that, you grow up saying, well, I want to get away for a second. And there's nothing we can do about that. That happens in every city in America and college. But we really want to recruit this area. We really want to offer the young men in this area that we feel like will fit this program academically and athletically, and we did that, and we're excited about those 4 young men.
Coach, can you kind of go into the challenges and how you've overcome recruiting out of state for San Jose?
Yeah, we're really excited about our opportunities out of state. The thing that you have to realize, you can't leave your own backyard and always think the pasture's greener on the other side. So first of all, we're going to look in our state. This state is 4 states in one. So that gives us a lot of advantages. So we're really combing it hard. But at the same time, Arizona's very, very close to us. And, the Southwest Airlines, I'm giving them a pub, but I fly that all the time. And it's easy, and it's a very cheap way for us to be able to get recruits here. So that's important. And then the state of Texas is just so loaded with talent. And now that our conference is going into the state of Texas, Tom Bowen called me and said, hey, Mike, you need to look in Texas. We're playing there, a lot of good football players. And so we looked in there, and we were able to find, I think, 2 excellent players that we're really, really excited about. And it was a battle all the way till the facts came across this morning with Jalen McCain, and I was sweating it. Even my wife was texting me, asking me what was going on. So it was a fun battle, and we're excited to have him. So our out-of-state recruiting, we will increase it some, but I still want to get the bulk of our players right here in the state of California, because this is a great state of football talent, and we will do that. But we're starting to get more and more interest of kids calling us out of state, interested in coming here. And the more, I tell you, us playing on national television, us playing 10 or 12 football games on television and kids seeing us all the time has really helped our out-of-state recruiting. And, you know, I can't tell you how many people have talked about the Navy game they saw, the Hawaii game they saw on television, the BYU game they saw on TV. So it's exciting for us.
Mike, which of these players, I know you like to redshirt most of your guys, but are there any that you are kind of identifying as potential candidates to play next fall?
Well, that's a good question. John, what I try to do, you're right, you'd like to try to redshirt most of your linemen usually. That's the hardest area for them to play right away, just because now, instead of them being the biggest guy on the field all the time, now everybody's just as big as they are. You want to help them. But, you know, I think we'll have some skill kids and some linebackers that will play relatively quick. For numbers reasons, because we graduated a few DBs, we graduated a few linebackers, and those guys also play on all your special teams. And I think we signed some guys that can run and hit and have size and are coming in physically ready to go. That's the other thing about it, is you juice up your recruiting and you get better and better, you start getting guys that are a little bit more mature, a little bit more ready to play, and because you're getting a little bit closer to the top of the cream of the crop, so to speak. And so I feel like some of these guys are going to come in ready to play. I would think McCain would have an opportunity to come in and play, yes. Running back is usually one of the easiest places to go, because you can hand it to them a few times and they can make some plays, and you kind of mix them in. Now, the blocking schemes and all of that are stuff they have to figure out, but he's a sharp young man that came, you know, Texas high school football, and, you know, I'm sitting in there at their school talking to them. They have 9 full-time coaches on staff, on campus, teaching class. So they're doing it all the time. They got their own football class. I watched it. Here comes 110 football players from this seniors are already gone. That's just their 10th and 11th graders. And their junior high team, their 9th grade team has an A and B team of 100 kids on each one. You know, so that's the difference. I guess football is a religion there, so to speak.
Coach, you already touched on this with your versatile players that can play both sides of the ball. I want to ask you about Christian Tago. And in your vision, do you really see him playing offense or defense or both?
Well, I tell you, at our camp, he played quarterback, and then when he's through playing quarterback, he would go over and play linebacker. And then he'd come back and play. He'd complete a pass, or he'd make a run. He'd come over, he'd cover a guy. I think that he has a very good ability. And in today's world of the running quarterback, when you see him, he's kind of built like a tailback. You know, he's 220 pounds, fullback, tailback. So I think there will be a situation for him at quarterback for us to look at and see. I think as he gets a feel for it, we'll see where he can help us the quickest, helping the football team.
Coach, you signed 20. Are there any walk-ons that got scholarships this year? Any gray shirts coming back?
Yes, Cullen Newsome, young man that played for us last year that backed up at safety, who was a walk-on, who played really well in special teams and made some big, you know, the Hawaii game, he's the one that knocked the fumble loose that Chandler Jones picked up. He played in the last 2 games when Duke Nacho got hurt and played really, really well. He was our leading tackler in the Fresno game. He had 10 tackles. Tackle for loss, pass breakup, just had a great game. And after the game, we were walking back up the ramp. I told him, "You got a scholarship, son," and he was excited. Matter of fact, he came to me today and just thanked me again for doing it, but he's earned it. He's such a bright kid. He's a hard worker. He's a good football player. So Cullen Newsome would be one of ours. And then as we go into the spring and fall, we'll see how all the different things work out with the other guys, how they compete and play. Oh, yes, Deleon Eskridge, our transfer from Minnesota. We put him on scholarship in January. So, and he's doing really well in school and looks really good. We're excited about DeLeon. Thanks, Lawrence. Is that it? All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And today is Christmas, right?
Okay, thanks again, everyone, for being here, and thank you to our viewers online. I know for our fans, everyone's anxious to get the season going, so some important dates to note. Tuesday, March 6th, the first spring practice, and then April the 13th, that's a Friday, will be the spring game over at Spartans Stadium. We'll get a timeout at a later date, but keep those dates in mind for now. Thanks again.